Well, we've got. Do you wanna introduce yourself? Since you're.
So I'm Khanster, and with myself, I've got Papat one as my
how's
commentator.
how's it going, everybody? I'm here to talk about this game I really like. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So who should be giving me the countdown?
I can count you down whenever you're ready, as long as where everybody else is ready to go.
I've got the timer ready whenever you guys are set to go.
Okay, count me down.
All right, we're going in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, let's get into it. So this is Mega Man 6. This is the last installment on the of the Mega Man series on the original NES. Came out very late in the NES life cycle. Very pretty looking game. Very great music in the game. In terms of the differences from this game in comparison to the previous ones, we do have the charge shot and the slide that were introduced in Mega Man's 4 and 3 respectively. And there's a little bit of a mechanical difference with the slide in this game in comparison to like the previous three. You can't jump directly out of a slide in 6. You have to cancel it first by either turning the other direction or by pressing jump mid-slide to end the slide early so that you can then jump out of it again. Makes for some very cool looking and cool feeling movement, but it can feel a little clunky if you're not used to it initially. Nice slide jump. So we're going through Windman stage here. Windman is the easiest of the 8 robots to start off with in terms of speed and consistency. We don't really need a weapon for his stage. You could use like Nightman's weapon or Tomahawk Man's weapon in theory, but it ends up being roughly the same speed or slightly slower um, to use those weapons just from how slow the pause menu opens up. Um, so it's best to get through wind just as quickly as you can so that we can get to the actual best weapon in the next stage. We've got Windman here. He's not super difficult, but you do have to be wary of a couple of his patterns where he tries to land on you. Just trying to get charge shots in as quickly as we can here. Nice job. Oh, nice right wall kill too. Um, so so there's a couple of unique things about Mega Man 6. If you finish bosses and you're close to the right wall, you can actually reduce some of the in-game lag that happens by jumping against the right wall. I've read through task notes. They, as far as I can tell, they don't understand why it happens that way either, but it just does. So we do it. All right. So we have Windman's weapon. We're going into flame. The Windman's weapon is not super useful. There's a couple times where we'll use it when we have to. We're still going to go through just with Buster for the most part here in this stage. Very cool stage. Very fun to play. A lot of really unique slide spots. The sort of gimmick of Flame Man stage are these oil pits everywhere that slow you down or hinder your movement. You can't jump as high out of it. You can't move very fast. But they can also be lit on fire, which you have to be careful for. Roland. Um, so just trying to make sure that we kill all the flame tellies as they drop in, so that none of them light our path on fire and have to slow us down or accidentally die. And going into the last screen here, we've got the Fire Boys who are similar to the flame tellers, except that they can toss out their flames at certain distances at sort of awkward timing sometimes. So you have to be a little wary about when and where they fire at. We're doing the E-tank skip. Let's go. In this last screen, and it's usually lit on fire. You just have to kind of deal with it.
And we're sending the flame boy to heaven.
Yeah. All right, we have Flame Man here. We're hoping that he doesn't jump around too much, just because Wind is a ground-based weapon, sort of like Bubble Lead from Mega Man 2. It kind of drops to the ground and then flows across. It does go through his fire pillars here, which is really handy. The Buster Shot would tink off, or you'd have to fire it like at a very specific height in order to hit him while he's doing that particular pattern. So really nice that way. But we do want to get Flame done typically as quickly as possible, because Flame Blast is just extremely powerful. We'll talk about Rush Power Adapter in a little bit. But Flame Blast is, you can fire 3 at a time. So you can have 3 out on screen. It can sit on the ground and kind of be a pillar for a little bit. And it deals 4 damage per shot. For reference, a Charge Buster shot is 3. So it's really high damage, really high DPS for the Flame Blast. So it's going to be used quite a bit in some of the future stages. So we're in Blizzard. Blizzard has ice mechanics. The ice mechanics are actually pretty handy here, where you wouldn't think they would be normally. Normally, when you end a slide, when you cancel a slide, or when you come out of a slide normally in Mega Man 6, you come to a complete dead stop. Ice actually keeps your momentum, so you're moving forward here. This is the sub. I'm going to let you do a little bit here. Okay. All right. Good plan. There's some tricky stuff about the sub, where it can kind of occasionally, if you land incorrectly, it can eat your slide inputs. If you're trying to go like super fast, there's some really tricky cycles that get through. Just really easy to fall into spikes or jump into spikes accidentally. So I want to make sure we do that. And we're not doing bomb skip.
You expect me
bomb
to go for Bob Skip?
No, I'm not. The bomb skips is a trap. Just don't do it. All right, we've got Blizzard Man here. He can do one of 3 things. He can either shoot out these snowflakes, which is what we want. He can ski forward, and he can roll. And rolling is the one that we don't want. But he's guaranteed to swap patterns after 2 attacks. So if he does 2 snowflakes, he has to do something else. So just happened to get a roll in there, but only 1 roll is pretty good.
In other news, that was a gold.
Nice. All right, so we got Blizzard Attack. Blizzard Attack is not good. It's useful for 2 bosses, and that's all you'll see of it. It could have been better, but they actually did make Blizzard Attack be a soft weakness for a couple of enemies, so that it one-shots them. But it's just still not very useful. It's pretty laggy. All right, we're in Plant Man. Plant is very notorious for being a difficult stage, just in terms of layout, especially the last screen. Like, most people who are even relatively experienced with this game can have trouble with the last screen. I know I've died many times. But first, we've got these gorillas here that we're going to drop down into. The gorillas have 24 HP, which is 6 flame blasts. If you're trying to use most other weapons, buster shots, etc., it's going to take a really long time. So this is one really big reason to get flame early, and why plants as an early stage is just a bad idea in general. Because there's 2 of them here. Nice. All right, and then we've got the last screen where a lot of tricky stuff happening in here. We've got the fish coming up from the water. We've got these plant forms that are floating around. Just a lot of dangerous enemies in sections here. It's probably the smart decision. There's a like a slightly faster way to get past those plant forms at the end where you don't swap off a flame, but for marathon's sake, usually pretty good idea to swap to Buster just to make sure that you get through. This is the most important section to not die in. And we made it. Excellent.
Come on, Plant. Bail me out.
All right. So Plant Man can jump left or right. There's a setup if he jumps right.
Yo, I got it.
Nice. Excellent. So there's sort of a glitch with Plant Man's AI where if you're right in the middle of his hitbox, as he chooses how far to run to Mega Man after his plant shield goes off screen, he does just like a maximum length run, which would normally not ever be possible. So he kind of runs back and forth, and you're able to hit him a bunch of times and get a 2-cycle on him instead of having him jump around and fire his plant shield and be invulnerable for a lot of it. Really nice job.
I was not expecting that to happen.
All right, and we're in Tomahawk. Tomahawk has pretty tough and interesting first screen with these Colton enemies that take 6 shots each. Uh, there's a lot of things that are just like you want to try to go as fast as possible, but they slow you down just enough where it's like I need to figure out how to get past this just a little better. Yeah,
Just kill it with fire.
just kill it with fire. Yeah. And then going through the rest of the stage here. Pretty straightforward stage overall after the first screen. We do have one of the prettiest screens on the NES here with this sunset. Really taking advantage of the late cycle NES hardware and just development. And this would be the first stage where we could see a change in route, quote unquote. There's a 100% category that collects beat, where if you go down here and take the right ladder,
Take that, Pro Man.
get owned, Proto Man. If you take the right ladder, then you go to an alternate boss fight that gives you a beat letter. If you collect all 4, you get beat. Beat is extremely nerfed in this game in comparison to 5. I can talk about that here in a second. We'll go through the Tomahawk Man fight here. Fighting him with a melee weapon, and he's pretty aggressive. Nice. Yeah, the plant barrier is actually a really good weapon, but you don't have any ammo for it. So you only have 7 shots. Plant barrier also does 4 damage per hit to most enemies, and you can spam it, and it's like very melee. So like having a melee weapon can be bad, but it's also like just very strong. So it's just a little unfortunate we don't have enough ammo for it. Yeah, we're going into Yamato. Yamato it's pretty straightforward. Just make sure you don't die on the first screen. Excellent. And then if you had anything you wanted to plug here, you can feel free to. Pass the dragonfly. Without taking damage, always nice.
No Baron Dragonfly.
We will see our first instance of a um, rush adapter here. We're going to swap to Rush Jet. So Rush in this game has been completely changed from his previous iterations. Instead of turning into something that you can use, he actually attaches to Mega Man to alter his movements directly. So we have the jetpack adapter here. You can't slide it with either the jetpack or the POW suit, but you get a couple extra benefits from them. Jetpack being the ability to fly and hover for a short period of time, and then it refreshes the ammo, quote unquote, for it every time you land on the ground. So you can basically have unlimited flight for short periods. Got Yamato Man here. Yamato Man is probably the uh, easiest example to see of a boss that after 2 times of a single pattern swaps. So most of the bosses in Mega Man 6 have that mechanic about them where they can only do one thing twice and then they have to swap to another attack pattern. Yamato Man only has 2 attacks, the jump and shoot the triple shots, or the throw the little spear at you and then run to go pick it up. So it's really easy to tell what he's going to do. Like if he does one thing twice, it's like, okay, I know he's going to do the other thing now. All right, we've got Nightman here. Nightman starts off with a really tricky section. I'm going to let you just get through it here real quick.
Oh,
Oh, no. Yeah, the night ceiling. Spike ceiling.
spike ceiling too strong. Okay, there we go. Second try.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, the spike ceiling there is pretty tricky. You have to like, because it's like coming down on you, you have to like adjust how you jump both out of both pits to make sure that you don't jump into the spikes. We saw Khanster do the pause method where you actually can swap to Yamato Spear. Mid slide, the spike ceiling will continue to move while you're in the pause, going into and coming out of the pause, and it will actually um, it'll when you come out of the pause, it'll be up and you won't die to the spikes coming down. There's a couple other ways to go about it, but this is the way that's probably the most consistent way to get through.
Looks like we got a mad nerd.
Got mad nerds. They're so mad. This is my favorite enemy. Mad nerds are one of the few enemies that have a condition to kill. So regardless of what weapon you hit them with, um, it takes 2 hits. One hit to knock off their little graduation hat, and then the other one to finish them off. With the exception of Blizzard Attack. A Blizzard Attack will one-shot a Mad Nerd. All right, we've got Nightman here. Nightman, forget everything I talked about for Yamato, where it's 2 patterns then repeat or then swap. Nightman does what he wants. If he wants to jump 7 times in a row, he can jump 7 times in a row. That was actually pretty good. Mace ball throw, jump, mace ball throw, jump.
While we're in this intermission, we
Yeah.
did just get a donation rolling in.
Oh, nice.
Felly donated $5 simply saying, let's get the donation train rolling. I don't know why I did an update on the layout, but just wanted to make sure it was acknowledged.
I guess it's busted.
Indeed.
Classic marathon tech, but thank you so much. All right. We've got Centaur Man stage here. Centaur is the water stage, but there's some really unique things that if you haven't seen Mega Man 6, I don't think I've seen a mechanic like this in other games, other NES games especially. So we've got the water here. Swap into Knight. Knight is a very good weapon. Kind of arcs in a nice way to kill a bunch of enemies in your path. Does 3 damage per shot, so very strong. And you get a lot of ammo with it, which is very useful. And then here we have the water ceiling, which very unique, very cool. I couldn't tell you mechanically, physics wise, how that's possible, but I've always
It's
really liked
magic.
it. Yeah. All right, and we're coming up into the last couple of screens here. We've got the submarine screen, submarine clouds, where you hit them once, breaks them out of their cloud, and then you hit them again, and it defeats them.
That little energy drop almost killed me.
Yeah, energy drops in Mega Man 6 can be very dangerous and deadly depending on where you get them at. They're just like the other uh, NES games where they kind of pause your movement, pause the screen for a little bit. So if you're not ready for them, you can kind of accidentally walk off or cut your jump short as you go off an edge or into spikes. Mega Man 6 is actually pretty low on ammo drops in general, but they do still have the opportunity to own you. We've got Centaur
I-
Man here. We
I
got
got
flashed!
No,
No!
we'll just chalk it up to marathon luck. But maybe you can explain why I got flashed.
Yes. So Centaur, every time that Centaur finishes a movement pattern, a teleport or a run across the screen, he does a check. If either you or he are in iframes, he will not flash. If neither of you are in iframes, he has a pretty high percentage chance to flash, but does not always. So you can guarantee not getting flashed as long as you just either hit him soon enough or have taken damage within a short time period before, like as he finishes up his pattern. So it is something you can control, but is a little bit tough sometimes to hit him right as he's coming out of a teleport.
Ooh, baby. That was a little sketch.
Okay, we're grabbing the bottom. We're fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I wasn't worried.
Don't worry. Were you worried?
All right, and we're gonna see our first instance of the POW suit here. POW suit, you get to punch your enemies to death, which is really cool. You don't get to slide again, and it's sort of limited range, but it's very strong. The fully charged punches in general deal 4 damage to most enemies. Um, Robot Masters is an exception for whatever reason. They programmed it a little differently. But you can deal pretty high DPS in general with the POW suit. And it's the only way to break those breakable blocks on the last couple screens. We're going through rounder 1 real quick. Rounder 2. Nice. So rounder 2 is a boss without iframes. I think they programmed it as 2 separate enemies with their own individual health bars, sort of like mini bosses. So you can lay flames on the ground, have the boss run into it, and they'll just take damage insanely quickly. They do have a weakness to flame, which is why they take 4 damage there. But yeah, they're pretty quick to get through in general. But yes, POW suit's the only weapon that can break open the breakable blocks. Everything else is unable to. So, and it's much faster to go the right path in the split path in X1. But we're in X2. Have to swap to jet. That's a required jet swap, but swapping off of it immediately because we need to be able to slide or want to be able to slide to go fast.
Must go faster.
And then going through last couple of screens here, this part can be a little tricky with the lag sometimes. Smart decisions on the cancels there, good. And then we're coming up to one of the two most infamous bosses in Mega Man 6. If you're playing casually, probably used Jet and took a million years to fight this boss and maybe like 3 E-tanks. But we're gonna fight him with Tomahawk. It's not trivial to fight him with Tomahawk because you have to still keep an eye out on where he is and where he's going. That was a really, really nice pattern. So you kind of want to position yourself in a way where you can hit most of the spots that he can be on the screen with a Tomahawk fired from the ground.
I was actually expecting way worse pattern.
Yeah, yeah.
He's not that. He's never that nice.
Yeah, that fight can go either really simply like it was there, or it can go like you miss 5, 6, 7 shots in a row. It's like, please just get to a spot I can hit you. All right, we've got X3 here. X3 is Jet the stage. There's not a lot of ability to slide here, just from the uneven terrain and the movement that you have to do. You have to swap to Jet in a couple spots anyway, so most of the stages ended up playing with the Jet. We do swap to Buster here because it's mostly flat ground for a little while. And get up.
Controller, please.
Yep. Getting through the cannon peller screens here. And then we have the last screen of X3, which is it's very easy to die. There's like once you're used to the screen, it's not
Oh baby.
awful, but that's a low Jet. Okay, we're fine. Yeah, just wait. All right, should be good. Just don't get hit by. Excellent. Suit punch through the door. Always necessary.
Required.
All right, and then we have the best named boss in Mega Man 6. It's Matonger Z. We're gonna be fighting him with the POW suit. Technically, his weakness is Blizzard Attack, but it only does 3 damage, and POW suit punches do 4. And you would use all of your weapon energy to kill him with Blizzard Attack, so it's just not useful to do it that way. We need it for the infamous Mega Man refights. I mean, this is X4. This is the last stage, right? Right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's no fake boss, fake antagonist.
I don't think so.
Tomahawk refill for safety. I like it. The Terex pickup. And then the Nightball has an interesting property where if it kills an enemy with less than 3 health, it'll pierce that enemy. So you can use one Nightball to kill 2 turrets here. X4 is very dangerous. It's mostly over pits. Got through the first screen good. Oops. It's all right. It's all right. Just re-grab the ladder and climb up again. Don't worry about it.
At least it wasn't over a pit.
Yeah. And then we've got the Colton screen. This is probably the reason that we swapped to Nightball here, just from being able to actually hit the Coltons reasonably as they come on screen and kill them with 2 hits. And then the last screen, where you're like standing on bird spawners half the time. Okay.
Oh,
Nice. We're through.
I got the 1,000-year pause.
Oh, you paused right away. Yeah. And on top of that, we have to walk of shame for the rest of the hallway. Oops. All right. So we're gonna punch the wrecking ball here. Excellent. And what's happening? What's happening? Failedy. Failedy in English. It was Wiley.
It was
Wiley
Wiley
the whole
all.
time. I can't believe it.
We were fooled. So the one thing about that boss, his hitbox is a T, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. You can hit him in the ears and the chin, or like in the middle of his body. There's like the very sides of his chin aren't hittable. Like yeah, the hitbox is shaped like a T, so it's you have to kind of aim in a particular way to get the punches to land. But fortunately, every time that you hit a fully charged punch, it knocks him back, so you can kind of get him into a stun lock pattern. And now we're in Wily 1. Wily 1 is a falling stage, going straight down for the most part. We are going to take the shortcut here. It's not much of a shortcut, but because of the extra pause that it requires to swap to POW suit. But it is still a shortcut. The other screens that you would normally go through have some spots where you have to fly around and go like adjust to make sure that you don't hit spikes. So being able to just fall straight down here is much easier and a little bit faster. And then we're gonna be fighting Mechasaurus. Mechasaurus is a boss that works.
He's a boss.
And to be fair, it's not really Mechasaurus's fault per se. It's Spear's fault. So Mechasaurus has a hitbox that's 4 pixels wide, right in his eyes and nose. And Spear, Yamato Spear moves 6 pixels per frame. So there's just dead zones all over the room where if you fire your spear, it just doesn't land. You can get a shot directly from the left wall, like with your back on the left wall, and it will guarantee hit. There we go. But it can be very tempting to like jump up and like shoot 2 or 3 shots into him. It's just like I fired 3 shots and they all were in the wrong position and they all tanked off. Mechasaurus eats spears for breakfast.
I thought he just eats hitboxes for breakfast.
All right, and Wily 2, we've got a little bit more ice here in the first screen. They use it more in the upper path for the split path here, but we're not going to see that. We're going to go right. Good jump. Flame melts ice, the ice wall pillars. So need to swap to get through here. It is much faster to go this way than the top path. And then we're in the Mad Nerd room, infamous Mad Nerd room. All right. Just make them lift off screen. Mad Nerds are relatively laggy enemies, and wind is a very laggy weapon. So it can be like if you're not really careful, you can end up just not being able to jump out of your slide or jump when you come out of your cancel. And that was the boss. He rolls on
It was
screen.
a boss.
He rolls on screen. You can get like 3 hits on him before he even does anything, and he dies really fast. He's a very interesting boss. He's got the same sort of mechanic as the gorillas do in Plant Man, where if he's forward on the screen, you can hit him, and it'll knock him back. Careful. All right, we got fans.
I'm a big fan.
Big fan. You might need a knight. I don't know how many shots you have.
We'll figure it out. We're just going with it.
Looks like it's 7. All right. But we do refill a bunch of tomahawk here. It's really nice that there's like 2 weapon refills right in your path here in Wily 3. Because we're going to be using tomahawk a lot in the last stage. But for now, we're in the refights. So going through the 8 robots again. Hoping for no rolls or as few rolls as possible on Blizzard.
Come on, Blizzard. Can't you be a bro once?
All right. 3 rolls there. That's 4 rolls total throughout the game, which is above average. So not too bad. And then you got flame. Mostly nice flame pattern.
Yeah, passable.
We've got tomahawk. Health management is one thing to just be wary of when you're doing the refights in 6. Every boss drops a full health refill, or a large health refill, I should say, which takes some time to count down or count up in your health bar if you're low on health. This is Windman with Centaur Flash. Centaur Flash is a weapon that hits the whole screen. You just have to make sure that you don't fire it too early, and that's the only trick here. It does freeze the whole screen for like 3/4 of a second, though. So that's one reason that it's not faster to do Windman later in the route in general. It's still faster to fight him that way than with Buster, but it's just you lose more time more often with doing other
No.
fights. Buster. No, you were a little far away.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah. At least you didn't get flashed again.
We gotta show for everybody. What happens when you get flashed?
All right, Nightman, what are you doing? Throwing? Okay.
I guess that worked out, him walking to me.
Yeah, that was extremely nice Nightman pattern. And then Yamato doing the same thing. Double spin, so we know he's going to jump next. Double
Can we
jump,
get
so we
it
know he's gonna-
again?
And we've got Plant Man. Plant Man is the same, except you're 1 pixel further to the left when you enter the boss room, in the refight room. So if he jumps right, he did not. Ah, well, it's fine.
At least I got to show it off.
Yes. Got to show off the harder way of getting it. Ooh, very close. And we go straight from refights into the last stage. No intermediate boss in between, which is nice.
Can we even really call it a stage?
It's a short stage. It's a couple screens. We're going into Dr. Wily's secret bunker to make sure that we can put him behind bars for real this time. There's no way that he'll escape again. So yeah, get another tomahawk refill, kill the Met Dispenser mini boss, go past Eddie, and going into the final Wily fight. Wily, all 3 forms of Wily are weak to tomahawk, so this is why we want as much energy for it as we can get. It's 21 shots. get the early hit in here on him. Excellent. And time will be coming up on the last hit of Wily Capsule, which could be very soon. Off screen? Aw.
Time.
GG. Nice run.
Yeah, that was really good. I had 2
Fine.
golds during that run.
Final time on our end turned out to be 39:13.
Yeah, I got a 39:12.
Yeah, it's
Discrepancy in timer starts.
Yeah.
It'll happen. But yeah,
sub 40
nice
though.
run.
Yes.
Very good run.
That's what I was aiming for.
And then we put Dr. Wily behind bars, and he'll never escape again. There's not any other Mega Man games that are in this marathon that indicate that maybe Wily escaped and made his own robot and did stuff in the future. No, not this.
Not at all.
Nope. Nope.
But yeah. Thank you so much for having us. We've got another cool Mega Man game coming up next. It's X4 Buster only, if I remember that right.
Yes.
That it is.
Excellent. That's a cool run.
I look forward to seeing it.
All
I
right.
will see you all later in the marathon.
All right. Thanks, Khanster.
Okay. Enjoy
Alright.
your X4.